Hola, ¿qué tal? Bienvenidos a otra sesión de Satchel Classes. Soy Mr. Castrillón and I would like to welcome you to another session today with Satchel. Today's lesson is just a very interesting lesson regarding verbs. And we're going to learn how to conjugate IR verbs, and we have our simple past edition. We have all the videos on the website that basically explain how to conjugate AR and ER verbs into simple past and also in simple present. This is very important because most of these verbs are the ones that we are going to learn today and the ones that we have covered in other lessons will definitely appear on exams, and we tend to use them a lot when we speak in Spanish. Hoy vamos a aprender a conjugar verbos terminados en ir. Vamos a conjugar verbos regulares en pasado simple y vamos a practicar con oraciones y frases comunes. But first of all, what is an IR verb? Of course, it is any verb ending in IR. Just remember that we have three families, so to speak, of verbs in Spanish. We have the AR verbs, the ER verbs, and the IR verbs. All of them will have different ways to be conjugated or somehow changed in order to somehow balance, so to speak, our speaking or our conjugations. We can find two types of verbs, regular and irregular, but today we are going to be learning regular verbs mainly. We will cover some irregular verbs that are essential, are crucial for what we are going to learn throughout our GCSEs. And of course, if we want to continue doing some further languages in A levels or why not at college or university. But also remember that Spain is not so far away. So you can actually go visit Spain and then you can show off your skills with the IR verbs. So let's start first with cómo se dice en español. How do you say in Spanish? To decide, to live, to leave, to receive, to write, to describe, to open. So first of all, what we are going to do is we are going to take our dictionaries and we are going to try and translate each one of these verbs into Spanish. Okay, so I'm going to give you 2 minutes for that. Off you go. Time is up. So let's have a look and see what those verbs are in Spanish. Decidir, Feel free to repeat after me so you can pronounce and, of course, practice your Spanish. Decidir. Vivir. Vivir. Partir. Partir. Recibir. Recibir. Escribir. Escribir. Describir. Describir. Abrir. Abrir. Well, but what is this whole thing about, verbs? Well, first of all, we need to practice a lot more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 2 minutes to fill in each one of those missing letters with the right vowel. Okay, so let's see where you can do it. 2 minutes for that. Off you go. Time is up. Let's have a look and see what missing vowels we are trying to use to complete these verbs. Here we go. Decidir, partir, abrir, describir, vivir, recibir, escribir. Now then, why are they so important? Well, because those verbs will use exactly the same rules that we are going to learn today. Now, as you can see, we have a white section of the verb and a yellow section. The yellow section is, of course, the ending of it, but the other part of the verb is called the root. Now, that root is not going to change. That root is going to stay the same. So I have each one of these pronouns and the root for the verb escribir. Now then, in simple past, what we need to do is, depending on the pronoun, we need to change the ending. For instance, if it is I wrote, then you would say yo escribí. You wrote. Tú escribiste. He or she wrote. Ella escribió. We wrote. Nosotros escribimos. You wrote in plural. Vosotros escribisteis. And finally, they wrote, which is ellos, ellas escribieron. So remember that these words at the beginning, we call them pronouns. In Spanish, by the way, we tend to leave them out. So sometimes instead of saying yo escribí, we only say escribí or escribiste and so on. Don't be put off by that. This is actually good because you don't have to learn so many things and you can actually leave out some elements of the speech. So all of these verbs, escribir, partir, vivir, decidir, abrir, recibir, and describir, follow the same rules as we have just seen. So escribir in this case is some sort of like example for all of the other verbs. Now let's practice. Let's translate these sentences. So the first thing is we are going to turn this into into English. We're going to translate them into English. Now, there are some missing gaps here, missing words, or missing endings. So we need to fill in with the right ending. And in order to do so, we are going to look at what we have in the blue section. On the second one, there is not a pronoun. There isn't a pronoun. So what we are going to do is we are going to wing it. We are going to improvise and see how it goes. So use the simple past endings to complete the yellow section. Now, we are going to translate each one of those. Now, if you want to go basic, it's just basically the yellow section. So you will have to translate only the yellow. If you want to go intermediate, well, translate only the blue and the yellow. But if you want to be challenged and you want to practice a lot more, feel free to do the 3 levels. I'm going to give you 3 minutes to complete this exercise. Off you go. One more minute left. Time is up. How did that go? Let's have a look at the endings first. Here we go. Escribí, escribiste, escribió, escribimos, escribisteis, escribieron. And of course, the translations would be I wrote in all my in all my lessons. Why did you write with red pencil? My sister wrote poems and novels. We wrote every day. Where did you write the phone numbers? And my friends wrote very little. Now, the next exercise is a lot simpler. What we have is a list of verbs in the red box, all of them in past. And we are going to use these verbs here to fill in or complete the sentences in the yellow box. Now, I have helped you with the actual word that goes in it. And all you need to do is check the pronoun in the sentence and choose the right conjugation. Now, there are 5 sentences. Feel free to translate the sentences if you happen to finish earlier than the time when I actually tell you to stop. But also, if you have some spare time, write new sentences in Spanish with the remaining verbs. I'm going to give you 3 minutes to do this exercise. Off you go. One more minute left. How did that go? Let's have a look and see the answers for this exercise. Well, I have en el colegio yo escribí muchísimo, which means at school I wrote a lot. The second one, mi maestro de español vivió en otra ciudad. My Spanish teacher lived in another city. The third one, nosotros recibimos llamadas todos los días. We received phone calls every day. Number four, ¿dónde viviste? Where did you live? Number five, mis hermanas abrieron los regalos. My sisters opened the presents. Now, feel free to use all of these sentences to create, all of these verbs, sorry, to create new sentences. And remember that you can come back, watch the video again, take pictures if you can, and of course, practice. And why not? Ask your teacher to help you out. Now, there are some irregularities. Some verbs will be irregular. So let's have a look at those. The first one is introducir. Now, introducir is going to have a slight change at the end. And I want you to have a look at the actual change. Well, the C is going to turn into a J. Yo introduje, tú introdujiste, él introdujo, nosotros introdujimos, vosotros introdujisteis, ellos introdujeron. Now, really important is that this change is going to happen only with this verb. Another very important and very common verb is decir, to say. Now, this one is going to be slightly trickier because we have to change nearly all the word or all the verb. So let's see what the change is like. So we go from decir to yo dije, tú dijiste, él dijo, nosotros dijimos, vosotros dijisteis, ellos dijeron. So another verb that will follow this rule is predecir. Now, my suggestion for you is go back, check the video, and of course, take notes because you will have to use this verb at some point during your GCSE exams. A very important one is ir. Now, this one is going to change completely in simple past. It's going to be yo fui, tú fuiste, él fue, nosotros fuimos, vosotros fuisteis, ellos fueron. Now then, as a retreat, if you want to say I was, you use exactly the same conjugation. So if you want to say I was, or he was, or we were, well, you use exactly the same conjugation that I'm showing you right now for the verb ir. Finally, we have venir, to come to, or to come. Now, venir, we slightly changed, but the thing is, we just seen ir, and we would believe that it will have the same sort of conjugation as the one before. But no, it's going to change this way. Yo vine, tú viniste, él vino, nosotros vinimos, vosotros vinisteis, ellos vinieron. Now then, really important, another verb that will use this is prevenir or porvenir. And all of these verbs are commonly used in Spanish. Well, I hope that today's lesson has given you a bit of an idea of how to conjugate IR verbs into simple past. Remember to come back to the website and, of course, watch the videos as many times as you can or you want so you can practice, because the more you practice, the better it is going to be for you. Also, ask your teacher and ask your teacher to give you some examples or some exercises for you to practice. If you manage to do this practice, if you actually master the simple past in present, you are going to see lots of positive results or outcomes in your exams, and particularly on your final exams when you're doing year 11. In the meantime, I want to wish you a really good day and I hope to see you very soon. Hasta muy pronto. Muchas gracias.